The Forgotten Series, Episode 5, Documentation Series. So, today we're going to talk about Sly Cooper, another game of my favorite childhood raccoon thief motherfucker. So let's talk about it. Sly Cooper is a series of platform stealth video games for the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation Vita. The first three games in this series were developed by Sucker Punch Productions. Sanzuru Games developed the fourth game, while Sucker Punch worked on the Infamous series. The first three games were remastered into high definition for the PlayStation 3 by Sanzuru Games, titled The Sly Collection. Sanzuru released the fourth game in the series, Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, on February 5th, 2013. A CGI animated feature film based on the Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus is in development with currently an unknown theatrical release date. A television show based on the series was scheduled to premiere in October 2019, but has not yet aired. The series follows the adventures of Sly Cooper, an enigmatic raccoon and master thief, along with his two partners in crime, Bentley the Turtle and Murray the Hippopotamus, all of whom are pursued by Sly's love interest, Inspector Carmilla Fox. The series has spawned in 2 comic books and a various spin-off games, including Bentley's Hack Pack by Sanzuru Games. Sly Cooper himself became one of the most popular of the Sony video game characters and has appeared in a lot of Sony other games as a crossover character, including PlayStation Move Heroes and PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. The settings of the history. And Sly Cooper series takes place in a version of a real world populated by animals with film noir and comic book motifs. The main protagonist, a young adult raccoon named Sly Cooper, is the latest descendant in a line of master thieves. The Cooper clan is notorious for only stealing from other thieves and passes down their expert techniques from generation to generation in a book called The Thievius Raccoonus. While the Coopers have accumulated a massive hoard of wealth, Sly places greater value on his friendship with his partners in crime. Bentley, a turtle who acts as the brains of the gang, and Murray, a hippo who acts as the brawn and the getaway driver of the team van. The trio known as the Cooper Gang perform elaborate heists around the world, often taking down large and dangerous organized crime groups. On their travels, they are pursued by Sly's love interest, like I said before, Inspector Carmilla Fox of Interpol. The main series games, we're going to go through the history of it. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, known as Sly Raccoon in Europe, was released in 2002 for the PlayStation 2. Sly and the gang seek to find the missing pieces of Sly's family book, The Thievius Raccoonus, which contains all of the Cooper's clan's secret thief techniques. They trace it to the Fiendish Five, a rival gang led by a giant mechanical owl named Clockwork. Sly and his gang must steal back the book while keeping ahead of Interpol's Inspector Carmilla Fox, who promises to put Sly in jail for his crimes. Then, after Sly Cooper the Thievius Raccoonus came out, Sly 2 The Band of Thieves. Sly 2 Band of Thieves was released in 2004 for the PlayStation 2. After the events of Sly Cooper the First, the mechanical parts from the destroyed Clockwork are stolen by the Clock Gang, and together the parts could be used to revive Clockwork. Separately, they each have special functions and are used for various crimes by the individual gang members. So Sly and the Cooper Gang are pursued by Carmilla and his new partner, Constable Neela, while they track down the missing Clockwork parts. After Sly 2 came in Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves. Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves was released in 2005 for the PlayStation 2. On a remote island, Sly discovers the Cooper Vault, a gigantic cache of wealth accumulated by his family over the years. In order to gain access, he must defeat a villain known as Dr. M, who has taken over the island and made many failed attempts to break into the vault. Sly must regroup his old partners and recruit new members, defeating a variety of new villains along the way in order to succeed at reclaiming his family history, all while still on the run from Carmilla. The game also had some levels that can be put into 3D mode in the PS3 version of the Sly Collection allows the full game to be played in 3D. Then after that came Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. Sly Cooper Thieves in Time was originally announced during Sony's 2011 E3 and was officially released on February 5th, 2013. Sly Cooper and the whole gang return with the epic brand new adventure for the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation Vita systems. The pages of the Thievius Raccoonus are disappearing, and Bentley, now the keeper of the ancient book, must round up the gang and save the Cooper clan legacy from being destroyed forever. With Bentley's newly invented time machine, the gang and Carmilla travel back in time to stop the various henchmen of the main villain, Cyril Lee Paradox, who is determined to replace the Coopers as the new master thief of the world. Along the way, the gang teams with several of Sly's ancestors, all while Sly must deal with the aftermath of Carmilla discovering that he had faked his amnesia at the end of the previous game. The game was developed by Sansero Games and the same development team behind the Sly Collection, instead of Sucker Punch Productions, who turned their focus to the Infamous series. If players unlock the game's secret ending, a clip is shown that hints at a potential future installment in the series, but on November 14th, 2014, Sansero Games released a statement that they are not developing a future game. Unfortunately, RIP. The reception of Sly Cooper as a whole has been well received, with the games being praised for their art style and stealth gameplay and criticized for their length and stories. Excuse me. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus was critically acclaimed upon release, despite poor sales. GameSpot rated it 7.8 out of 10, stating that the game has a fantastic sense of style to its design that is reflected in everything from the animation to the unique use of the peaking fad cell shaded polygons. However, they criticized the length of the game, saying the main problem is that you're just getting into a groove and you're really enjoying the variety seen throughout the different levels, then the game ends. Official U.S. PlayStation Magazine gave it a perfect score of 5.5, stating that there's a pleasant old-school feel to Thievius Raccoonus, the enemies are merciless but a bit stupid, and the platforming challenges come on strong and ramp up steadily in difficulty as the levels go by. The game ultimately sold about 400,000 copies in its release year, and was later re-released as one of Sony's greatest hits. Sly 2 Band of Thieves received even more critical acclaim, being the highest rated game of the series. It earned an 88% on both game rankings and Metacritic, with GameSpy ranking it the 23rd greatest PlayStation 2 game of all time. Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves was also well received, with an 84% on game rankings and an 83% on Metacritic. Despite the anticipation after an 8-year hiatus, Sly Cooper Thieves in Time was on average the lowest rated game of the series. Had to throw that burp in there for you bitches. Despite still ultimately receiving positive rewards, its highest rating came from Game Informer, which gave it a 9 out of 10, and thus called it the best game since the original. IGN giving it an 8/10, summarizing that despite the ridiculous load times, occasionally frustrating gameplay, and some bizarre arcanic motion controls, Sly Cooper Thieves in Times is a worthy game to add to your library, as it harkens back to a different time in gaming when modernizing the experience for the new generation. GamesRadar gave it a 4.5 out of 5, similarly criticizing the lengthy but infrequent load times and cliffhanger ending, but it's saying the good points were stellar presentation and excellent level design. It is the lowest rated game of the series on Metacritic and game rankings, with a score of 75 on both sites. GameSpot with a 7.5, just below the first game 7.8. IGN with an 8.0, just below the third game 8.1. And Eurogamer, where it was the first game of the series to receive a score other than 8.10 instead of receiving 6.10. The other titles that Sly Cooper has made out, we had the Sly Collection, which is the Sly Trilogy in PAL regions, and the Sly Cooper Collection in Asia. It is a remastered port of the first 3 games in the series, released for the PlayStation 3 on a single Blu-ray disc as a classic HD title. The games were ported by Sansero Games and published by Sony Computer Entertainment America on November 29th, 2011. The Sly Collection was released as a digital download on the PlayStation Store, with each title in the collection available as a separate purchase. The collection also included a set of minigames. And then on May 27th of 2014, the collection was later re-released for the PlayStation Vita. Sly 1 and 2 are featured on the game card, while Sly 3 is accessed through an included downloaded voucher. The core game and the story for all games remains unchanged with the remastered versions. For the remastering, all three games had a graphic overhaul to allow them to support modern 720 resolution. That's fucking funny because at that time that was the modern standard, where now it's fucking like 4K and 1080p and shit. When in 3D mode, the games ran at 30 FPS, while in normal mode, the games ran 60 FPS. All three of these games have trophies with 1 platinum each, and the fact that in normal mode all games run 60 fucking frames per second, is considering there's some games that can't even hit that shit right now. Gotta fart on these motherfuckers for that one. Like, you know what I'm saying, bros? Bros! I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm letting it rip in this bitch. PlayStation Move supported minigames and 3D support are available in the collection as well as trophies. Upon completing every game in the collection, a Sly 4 teaser trailer is also unlocked. I ain't editing shit for y'all motherfuckers like, oh, why did he edit that out? Nah, that's what makes it funny, bitches. Come on. However, these features are not available in the downloadable version. Developer Sansui Games impressed Sony with a demo for the then-announced Sly Cooper Thieves in Time and was subsequently tasked with porting the series PlayStation 2 titles to the PlayStation 3. And at this time, the game's original developers, Sucker Punch Productions, were working on the infamous series. The Sly Collection was announced in June 2010 and later released on November 9th, 2010. It was made available on the PlayStation Store on November 29th, 2011. On April 20th, 2013, the PlayStation Vita port of the collection was revealed after it was rated by the ESRB, and that was officially released on February 10th, 2014, with the release date of May 27th, 2014. The reception of the Sly Collection received positive reviews from critics. Aggravating review websites such as Game Rankings and Metacritic gave the PlayStation 3 version 87.43% based on 35 reviews and an 85 out of 100 based on 46 reviews. And then the PlayStation Vita version was an 80.69% based on 16 reviews and an 80 out of 100 based on 30 reviews. Then we had PlayStation Move Heroes announced at E3 2010, a crossover between Sly Cooper series, Jack and Dexter, Ratchet and Clank, but it featuring Sly and Bentley as playable characters, while the game uses the PlayStation Move. That was later released March 22nd and 2011 in North America. And then in PlayStation Battle All-Star Battle Royale, Sly Cooper appears as a playable character in the crossover fighting game PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. In the game's arcade mode, Sly finds the several pages from the Thievius Raccoonist has been stolen and begins battling the other fighters in an attempt to locating them, including a rival battle with Nathan Drake. The Sly Cooper version of Paris also appears as one of the game's stages. Additionally, Bentley assists Sly with his level 3 super attack, Murray appears as an unlockable minion as part of Sly's level 1 super attack, and Carmelo appears as a downloadable minion and stage hazard in the Aiden Tower stage. Then we had another game called Bentley's Hack Pack. Bentley Hacks Pack is a collection of the various hacking minigames found in the main campaign mode of Thieves in Time, with additional levels, challenges, and prizes. It was developed by Sansui Games and was later released for the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita alongside Thieves in Time. This game is a part of Sony's cross-buy initiative, allowing purchasers of the PlayStation 3 version of the game to receive a free copy for the PlayStation Vita via the PlayStation Network. The game was released for the PlayStation 3, PlayStation Vita, iOS, and Android devices. It received a 7 out of 10 from Destructoid and 73 out of 100 from official PlayStation magazine Benelux. Now that we got over the games released, the critical acclaims, the reception, the history of Sly Cooper, let's talk about the major characters. We have Sly Cooper himself, voiced by Kevin Miller, is an neurotic young adult gentleman thief raccoon. He is part of a long line of master thieves who specialize in robbing from other criminals rather than innocent people, making them vigilantes. As a child, he witnessed the savage murder of his father at the hands of a group known as the Fiendish Five. They stole the Thievius Raccoonus, which holds the secrets of the Cooper's clan master thieves' moves. He was forced into an orphanage, which he met his best friends Bentley and Murray. Sly is the Nimbus member of the gang and performs the most missions. He uses a hooked cane, a fairly heirloom, as a multi-purpose tool. Sly is both cunning and extremely athletic and can perform feats such as walking on wires, landing on small points, sliding on vines, and falling from great heights. He's also able to disguise himself in order to access restricted areas. Then we had Bentley, voiced by Matt Olson. Bentley is the brains of the gang. He's a turtle who is skilled with the computers, gadgets, and explosives, and generally helps with reconnaissance and mission planning while Sly is out in the field. In Sly 2, Bentley decides to help out in the field, but later on his legs are injured under the jaws of Clockla, so he's forced into a wheelchair, which he handily equips with gadgets, and has since become more relaxed and confident in his abilities and himself. It also stated that he co-constructed a time machine along with his ex-girlfriend Penelope, which serves as a key object in the fourth game. He is the current guardian of the Thenus Raccoonus, and having been entrusted to him by Sly himself. Then we had Murray, voiced by Chris Murphy, is the muscle of the gang and Sly's full-time wheelman and part-time burden, in charge of driving the Cooper's gang van to various locations. As a large pink hippopotamus, he is amazingly strong. He often ventures to the field on missions requiring such strength. When Bentley is injured in Sly 2, he blames himself and leads the gang to the Australian outback, looking for a more peaceful state of mind, but eventually returns when Bentley is attacked by Italian crime mob leader Don Octavito, one of the Cooper gang's enemies. It is stated that he has developed a more serious personality, though he remains a happy-go-lucky hippo. Then we have Inspector Carmela Montana Fox, voiced by Roxana Ortegan in Sly 1, as Leah Guildwell in Sly 2, Ruth Liver in Sly 3, Grey DeSly in Sly 4, and in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. So she's been fucking getting all different type of voices. Montana Fox Carmilla is a member of the Interpol, as well as Sly's main complicated love interest. She's a vixen who has her mind set on capturing Sly and his crew, but also demonstrates romantic feelings for him, which Sly often uses to escape capture at every last minute. In the fourth game, Carmilla begins to help out the Cooper gang by aiding them in recovering the disappearing pages of the Thievius Raccoonus. That is when she herself begins to soften up and develop feelings for Sly. She uses a shock pistol as a weapon of choice, which contains powerful blasts and a target lock. In recovering the and a target lock. I guess that's what we got. And then we had Dimitri Alitusu, voiced by David Scully, is a French iguana who speaks in slang. He started out as a young painter whose unique art style was heavily criticized and rejected by the artistic community, forcing him to turn to forgery before opening a nightclub on the west side of Paris. This guy was going gang. His first role in the series was the supporting villain in the second game. As the first member of the Claw Gang to be defeated by the Cooper Gang, he later returns in the third game, beginning his role as supporting protagonist after he joins the Cooper Gang to help them with the Cooper Vault job. He returns for a much smaller role in the fourth game, left with the duty of guarding their Paris hideout in the Thievius Raccoonus while they travel through time, and thus only appearing in the cutscenes. Then we have the recurring characters. We have Clockwork, voiced by Kevin Blackton, who is the main antagonist of Sly 1 and an integral part of the story to Sly 2. Clockwork is a giant owl who is centuries old, initially fueled by his hatred and jealousy for the Cooper clan and their thieving reputation as great thieves. Determined to outlive the Coopers and eventually wipe them all out, he replaced his body with machinery so he could live for much longer than any normal being. He was first defeated in Krov's volcano in Russia by Sly at the end of the first game, but his body survived the lava and was placed in the Carleo Museum, where it was stolen by the Claw Gang, setting up the events for Sly 2. Although Clockwork himself does not actually appear in the second game, the parts of his body are the driving force behind the Cooper Gang's action, taking down the Claw Gang to receive all of them and ultimately destroy them. But all the parts are ultimately end up in the hands of the Claw Gang's leader, Alpa Electrico, and Clockwork is rebuilt before Nyla joins herself with the Clockwork frame to become Clockla. However, the new Clockla was short-lived and defeated shortly after by Sly and Carmella. Then we had Mugshot, voiced by Kevin Blackton himself again, is a massive bulldog, one of the supporting antagonists of Sly 1, featuring in the second level. He grew up as the runt of the litter, regularly picked on by the bigger dogs. Inspired by watching gangster movies, he eventually decided to work out in order to grow as strong as possible so that he could defeat all the bullies and never be picked on again. However, due to being entirely focused on LeBron, he conversely did little to advance his knowledge and thus is notoriously unintelligent. He was defeated by Sly in the first game and arrested, briefly seen in the issue number 2 of the comics, as an inmate at House Row Prison before returning for the third game, where he was a supporting villain in the third episode. It is revealed that after escaping jail, Mugshot became a highly trained and lethal pilot in the annual ACES competition run by Black Baron, where his team was the runner-up in the previous year and current year. Bentley deduced that in order for the Cooper gang to have a better chance at beating the Black Baron, Mugshot had to be removed from the competition. Thus, Bentley tricked Mugshot into running into Carmelo, who defeated and arrested him. He returned once more in the animated promotional short for the fourth game, Timing is Everything, where he stole an antique golden watch but was once again thwarted by the Cooper gang and arrested by Carmella. He was straight up thugging, loving. Then we had the Panda King, voiced by Kevin Blackstone himself, the motherfucker doing everything in this game. Got more voices than me. Who is a large panda and one of the supporting antagonists of Sly 1. Featured in the fourth level, he grew up fascinated with the art of fireworks, but when he attempted to present his own fireworks to the noblemen, they rejected him due to his poor social status. He gained revenge by using fireworks as tools for destruction and ran an extortion ring of robbing small villagers under the threat of burying them alive in avalanches caused by his fireworks. What the fuck? He's a G! Before Sly defeated him. Later, when Bentley determined that they needed someone with knowledge of more powerful explosives, for the Cooper vault job in Sly 3, he recommended the Panda King. Sly at first refused, but as the Panda King has been involved in the brutal murder of his parents, but Bentley convinced him that there was no other choice. The Panda King agreed to join them if they first helped him rescue his daughter from General Tsao, who has kidnapped her and planned to marry her. They succeeded, and after the Cooper vault job, the Panda King returned to China. Then we had Penelope, voiced by Annette Togolognini, is a Dutch mouse, one of the supporting protagonists of Sly 3 and one of the supporting antagonists in Sly 4. Bentley eventually discovered her online while researching potential pilots and mechanics that the team might need for the Cooper vault job in Sly 3. She challenged them to impress her by defeating her boss, the Black Baron, only to find that Penelope was the Black Baron. Defeated and exposed, she joined the gang and eventually formed a romantic bond with Bentley. He was thug loving on her, baby. After initially being attracted to Sly, however, she turned against them in the fourth game after she came to believe that Sly and his values of honor were a bad influence on Bentley, believing that she and Bentley together could rule through the world through weapons design and trade. Thus, she joined forces with Sarah Lee Paradox, with the promise of eventually defeating Sly and getting Bentley all to herself. After her second disguise, the Black Knight, was exposed, Bentley was initially devastated by her betrayal, but eventually came to terms with it and defeated her in combat, using one of her own mechanical suits against her. Although she was initially arrested and placed in a maximum security prison like the rest of the villains, she was the only one who escaped under mysterious circumstances. Bentley notes in the epilogue that she has been committing a wide variety of crimes all over Europe, leaving her calling card at the scene of each crime, and that he also has been receiving mysterious postcards from her, hinting at a possible return in a future installment. That never fucking happened because this is why we're doing the documentary. So we had the common gameplay elements. The games are primarily a third-person platform game. The player, you always pretty much control Sly or one of his companions through many missions or several levels, relying mostly on stealth to avoid encounters and alarms while collecting treasures or other items. Sly is very agile and able to use many of the features of the architecture for stealth, indicated to the player by blue glow, explained in-game as a visible manifestation of Sly Thief senses. For example, Sly can perch on top of shock points, climb up pipes, sneak along a narrow ledge, walk across a tightrope, or use his cane to swing from hooks. Sly also uses his cane to defeat foes, although it makes noise that may attract other foes. He prefers to use the sneak attacks when possible because of his little endurance. Due to his heritage, Sly has a number of special moves that he learns through the game. There are also mini games scattered throughout the gameplay. Each game is broken into a series of heists, and to accomplish the heist, Sly and his gang must complete several submissions in the first game. Each submission was located on a level accessible from the main heist level, while the second, third, and fourth games use a non-linear open world approach to have various missions located around the same large level. There is typically a boss fight at the end of each heist as the conclusion to the mission. Graphics and technology of the game. The first 3 games were built using Sucker Punch's proprietary engine, Spackles, Sucker Punch animation, and character Kinematics Life engine, with aid from the engine first created for the 2001 racing video game Kinetica. Spackles was first used on the Nintendo 64 title Rocket Robot on Wheels. There's Sly Cooper series itself also spawned comic books, where Sly Cooper and other characters from the games were also featured in 2 comic books published in 2004 and 2005. GamePro magazine and DC Comics to promote the release of Sly 2, Band of Thieves, and Sly 3, Honor Among Thieves, respectively. Both books are used to transition the story from one game to the next. Issue number 1 acted as a story between the first and second game, apparently taking place sometime within the second year span between them. The plot consists of 2 flashback stories and 1 present story. One is a flashback to the Cooper Gang's first taste of thief work as children at the Harpy Camper Orphanage, successfully stealing cookies from a greedy settler, and the other detailing the first time Carmela and Sly met, when the then new constable Carmela was assigned to the project of the Diamond of the Oprah Star during a performance, although Carmela catches Sly and ties him up in the janitor's closet. Oh my baby. Sly escapes, however he sees Carmela being betrayed by her boss, Chief Inspector Barkley, for the failure, and Sly decides to help Carmela. Thus, when the diamond is actually stolen by the singer-manager Pierre, Sly trips him and knocks him unconscious, leaving him for Carmela to claim as her own capture, thus earning her Barkley's respect. In the present storyline, Sly and the gang devise a plan to crash the engagement party of Dimitri Lucille and a wealthy art collector named Madeline Dionecanu and steal Dionecanu prize sculpture, the Venus del Vuelo, a party of the Venus de Mayo. They succeeded, but Carmelita stops Sly on a bridge over a river despite her holding a gun to him. He remains relaxed and engages in conversation with her, during which the two relay to each other their path and their opposing points of view. Sly then escapes by jumping off the bridge, and although Carmela at first thinks he's drowned, it is revealed that he landed on the deck of a boat passing underneath, with Bentley Murray, their van, and the sculpture all on aboard. Issue number 2 takes place after the events of Sly 2 and leads up to the events with Sly 3. The story is broken up into 4 parts. The first part consisting of Sly finding a member of his father's gang, McSweetney, in a maximum security prison due to invitation. McSweetney is an neurotic, super strong walrus who tells Sly of a massive vault on a remote island and its location, which contains the accumulated treasure of all the Cooper's family members, stating it as Sly's inheritance. Part 2 details Sly and Murray breaking into a hospital to rescue the injured Bentley from the authorities, though at the end Murray demands that Sly flee with Bentley while he stays behind to deal with the officers. Part 3 consists of Carmela and reviewing footage of Sly and Murray's attempt, with Bentley notably absent, to steal the map to the Cooper Vault's location from a Vietnam museum. But Sly later breaks into her office while she's asleep and steals the vault map from under Carmela's nose. The final part takes place at the Cooper gang's home in Paris, with Sly reviewing what is needed to get in the vault, while Bentley works on arming his wheelchair with a wide array of gadgets and weaponry to help Sly in the field. Murray returns after escape and informs the others that he is leaving the gang and disappearing to parts unknown. Not only did Sly Cooper spawn those fucking comics, he also, in the series, also spawned a film adaptation. Production on a Sly Cooper film originally leaked in 2012, with NeoGAF user discovering listings for a number of Sony Interactive Entertainment franchises and film financially database. The project was officially announced by producer Brad Foxhoven of Blockade Entertainment on January 28, 2014. Sly Cooper is Blockade's third adaptation of a Sony video game series after Heavenly Sword and Ratchet and Clank. Alongside a teaser trailer, the initial announcement revealed that Ratchet director Kevin Munro and animation studio Rainmaker Entertainment would be helming the movie, set for release in 2016. Also, like Ratchet and Clank, the film is financed by Film Financial Services, with lead investor Jiangsu Broadcasting Corporation from China, along with Rainmaker, with international representation by Cinema Management Group. Commenting on the film's production, Azad Qubash, senior director of the first-party games marketing at Sony, stated, "As one of our most storied and fan-favorite PlayStation franchises, we are excited to see the story of Sly premiere on the big screen for the first time. We have a great partnership with Rainmaker and Blockade Entertainment, and we're looking forward to seeing Sly reimagined in a full-feature movie to offer both fans and newcomers alike a chance to become reacquainted with one of our most beloved heroes." Series creator Sucker Punch Production is also involved with the film. David Wu, vice president of development at Blockade Entertainment, producer on the movie, was quoted as saying the film won't be an origin story. Sly and the gang are already together, though they are far from being great at what they do. The story will focus on Sly, Bentley, and Murray, but Camilla and Clockwork will also be included. Unlike prior incarnations of the franchise, which use cel shading, the film is going for a contemporary CG art direction. Fox Hoven stated that the global film market can lean towards pure CG animated films. As much as we love the cel shaded look of the game, we felt that it would not be held up in the big screen collectively. He also stated that working with the creators of Sly Cooper would help the movie look remain true to the artistic style of the characters and world. At WonderCon 2016, Morone stated that the film had yet to enter production and that he doubted it would be released later that year, but was standing by waiting to jump on top of it. I'm just waiting for a phone call. On October 26, 2016, he revealed on Twitter that he hadn't personally worked on Sly Cooper in over a year and a half. Monroe later became attached to other projects. Following the poor box office performance of the Ratchet & Clank adaptation, Cartoon Brew editor Almadi Amadi expressed hope that Sly Cooper would ever be completed. In September 2016, Michael Hawthorne, president and chief creative officer of Rainmaker, said that due to Ratchet's failure, the company would have to reevaluate the timing. Release plans and budget for Sly Cooper in 2017, Rainmaker left the project, leaving the movie to be out on its ass. Not only did it spawn movies, but it also spawned Sly Cooper also spawned a television series, which we're going to talk about briefly. On June 14, 2017, Sony Interactive Entertainment announced that they would be developing a Sly Cooper television series alongside of Telekanaka Animation Productions, with PGS Entertainment handling brand management. The series will consist of 52 11-minute episodes, with half scheduled to premiere in October 2019 and the remaining in July 2020, though the broadcast network had yet to be determined. On May 20th, 2019, Sony Interactive Entertainment announced that they had opened a film and TV production studio on the Sony Pictures Entertainment lot in Culver City, California, called PlayStation Productions, which will develop and produce projects based on the company's catalog of more than 100 games. Sony Pictures will distribute these projects, but Sony Interactive Entertainment will handle production firsthand. The announcement had many fans speculate that the Sly Cooper television series would be moved to the studio, considering that projects such as Sony Pictures' Uncharted film also moved there, which leaves the film, TV show, the movie, the animated movie, all the fucking things going on with Sly Cooper on asshole shitballs skadips. Dutify garbage trash diarrhea. All in all, that is the Sly Cooper documentary. Nice and long and juicy like my balls. Letting you guys know how it is in the steak land. Let me guys know in the comments below if you're a fan of Sly Cooper. I'm a huge fan of Sly Cooper, although after reading all this fucking shit in a documentary video, I'm fucking tired. So let me know below. Do you think Sly Cooper would benefit from a new game? Do you think a movie, the animated series, would be awesome? Do you think the series is forgotten, or is it just on the back burner because they don't know if it's going to generate enough income dollars? Which is crazy because you could just make stuff out of nothing, but I guess when you pump money into things, you want it to be an investment to give some kind of investment back. You invest it, and you take it out. Anyway, guys, make sure you hit that like, turn on the bell notification, and make sure you stay away if you like these documentaries, and let me know if you don't in the comments, but make sure you always like. Stay up to date with all the latest gaming tech news and reviews. Smash that like, and as always, subscribe. Coughing everywhere. God bless and peace. Sly Cooper's awesome. I hope that they bring it back. But let's find out. Peace.